Welcome back to my channel, guys. I recently put out a video on the 10 phrases, esoteric phrases like slang words that you'll hear on an app like Grindr here in France. And the video did extremely well. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I should make another one of these class with Kevin videos on French terminology. I've noticed that in general, people like more informative videos, I guess, on YouTube where they can learn something versus just me ranting, because most of my channel is me ranting anyway about some nonsense. So I thought, let me do something for the people when they visit France. And today I was in a bakery this morning and I thought, you know what? If I hadn't tried all of these pastries as a kid, I probably would be very overwhelmed walking into a boulangerie, which is what we call bakeries in France, because there's so many options, right? And especially if you don't speak French, or just in general, right? You might feel self-conscious asking the person there, what is this? What is that? What is this other thing? So I'm going to break down the top 10 things you'll find in any French bakery, in any boulangerie in France. By the way, French bakeries are no joke. Like, you gotta take it seriously when you walk into a boulangerie. It's a very important decision. Do you get the croissant? Do you get the pain au chocolat? Do you get, a piece of a pie, une tarte à la framboise? What are you going to go with? So I'm gonna break down the top 10 options you'll find. So number 1, la baguette. Yes, you'd be surprised, not everybody goes to a bakery to get a sweet pastry. French people will roll into a bakery to pick up bread for that day, maybe that week, for meals with family. Number 2, le croissant. This is actually my favorite item to get in a bakery, because it's a simple treat that goes with so many things. You can get it for breakfast, you can have it with your afternoon coffee. It's just such a versatile pastry, in my opinion. Fun fact about the croissant. The word croissant comes from crescent, the shape of this pastry. People always think of it as a French treat. It actually has its roots in Austria. Apparently, when the Austrians successfully repelled the Ottomans of the Ottoman Empire from Vienna, this baker created this shape for a pastry in honor of celebrating this event. And why the crescent shape? Because that's a symbol of the Ottoman Empire, now part of the Turkish flag. Actually, you can see it there. So even though it's very much associated with French culture and French bakeries, it actually has its roots in Austria. And funny thing, all these kinds of pastries with this texture in France we call viennoiserie, and the root of that word is Vienna. So we mentioned the roots. It's up to you guys. It's your problem if you think it's totally a French concoction. Number 3, another classic, le pain au chocolat. Pain means bread, chocolat obviously means chocolate. This has the same texture, taste as a croissant, but the difference, of course, is that a pain au chocolat has chocolate inside it, and also always comes in this iconic shape of a doughy pillow, we'll call it. The chocolate inside, by the way, is real chocolate versus, let's say, like a cream filling or custard filling. Another viennoiserie pastry is the pain au raisin. Bread with raisins is basically what that means, and it always comes in this spiral shape. Another French classic you'll find is the eclair. So this is actually not one of my favorite treats. It's a little too sweet for my taste. It's very much a dessert as opposed to like something you might pick up for breakfast, in my opinion. The eclair is this hot dog shaped pastry, typically has filling as well as a chocolate cream surface. If a bakery has more than one eclair type, typically the second option is caramel or coffee. I want to share the distinction between a grillé aux pommes and a chausson aux pommes. So pomme is apple in French, and both of these pastries basically have applesauce filling inside. The grillé aux pommes has these lines across it that add texture. Grillé means the same thing in English, grilled, basically. So you can remember it that way, that the lines on it are similar to like if you press grill a sandwich, like in a panini maker, you know how it'll have the lines come across? Same idea. Whereas chausson aux pommes, chausson actually means slipper. So it's a cute term of like, it's a slipper filled with applesauce, basically. They're both essentially the same kind of pastry, like the same filling, just a different exterior texture. A chausson pomme has way more of that doughy exterior, that flaky crisp, whereas a grillé aux pommes is kind of like a remastered piece of apple pie, we can say. The macaron. This is another one that's really a dessert. Like, you wouldn't get this for breakfast. I actually struggled to figure out how to describe this because it's such a specific taste. To me, it always just feels like flavored sugar. It's extremely sweet, but Wikipedia claims that it's an almond-flavored soft pastry derived from meringue. Obviously, if I'm going to introduce that new term, now I have to describe what meringue is, so that'll be the next item here, because meringue is also technically its own sort of pastry dessert item. So a meringue in a French bakery, in a boulangerie, is this like mass of hardened, to me it just tastes like hardened sugar. Again, can come in different flavors, but it's interesting because it's hard to the touch, almost like a hard candy texture, but once you start eating it, it melts in your mouth. Sort of like cotton candy in that way, that it melts in your mouth. The difference is cotton candy is already really soft when you touch it, right? This is a hard treat, so at least it makes it easier to, I guess, carry around if you're coming home from a boulangerie with a bunch of things. But it melts in your mouth as soon as you start chewing it. And last on my list is les chouquettes. So chouquettes are these cute little, again, dessert treats. You can eat a bunch of them at once. These are also borderline pure sugar inside dough, but unlike meringue, these are very soft to the touch, pretty hollow as well inside. I hope this was helpful. Of course, there's a lot of other things you can find in a boulangerie, but these are like the main items that you pretty much will always see or consistently run into in a French bakery. Let me know if you have a favorite treat down below in the comments. I'm curious. They're all wonderful, but as I mentioned, my favorite is just the simple croissant. It goes with anything, and I love dipping it in a little café au lait, a little latte, just sitting at a French cafe. Catch you next time.